Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. As you can see here, we got Katie.
Hey, guys.
The lovely Katie. And we are in a place called Domino's Village, which is one of the three main, well, actually, I guess it's, yeah, three.
I guess three, because
Four.
Tri-Delta is not permanent housing.
Right. But still one of the housing units.
Yeah.
It was still one of the housing units. So, you got Domino's Village, you've got Target House, which we lived at last year for our long-term stint at St. Jude. And then you've got Ronald McDonald House, and then Tri-Delta. Tri-Delta's more of like a short-term hotel deal, but so is Domino's a little bit too. But anyways, so we're here in the housing unit. Rylee, we just put Rylee down for bed, and we told you that we would give you an update as to what happened this week. And I gotta say, this was one of the most emotionally draining experiences since the very beginning that we've had. We went into this kind of on different ends of the spectrum a little bit. I feel like there was a little bit of pessimism and a little bit of optimism, and we kind of like bounced back and forth a little bit on that. This was the first 4-month period where Rylee wasn't on any treatment. She didn't have
chemo whatsoever. So obviously no IV, because it's almost been a year since we've been off of IV chemo, but we had been on a maintenance chemo for the last 8 or 9 months. And we had just gotten taken off of it last March when we came. So this was like 4 months of her body just doing what her body does. Right. Not knowing if she would relapse or not.
Yeah. And there was no signs of anything to me that really warranted any real concern going into this trip. Katie had some things she was worried about.
There's just a few things. Like, she gets like super sick at daycare, which is typical, I know, but like I feel like she was still like a little immunocompromised, and then she had a really bad cough going into like every morning. She'd cough really bad, which kind of worried me about like if they'd be able to sedate her for scans. Right. Sometimes if you're congested or have like respiratory issues, they can't safely put you under the right way.
So going into this, there's a bunch of things that we're really concerned about. The 4 months without any treatment at all. Obviously, that's new to us completely. And then, just her being sick a lot, those sort of things. Just kind of normal worries. I personally was not super. I was thinking that everything was going to be okay. And then we got here the first day, so we got in on Tuesday, and we set it up so we could get Rylee's IV in early that day, so we didn't have to do it when she was fasting and
on top of everything else.
Yeah, when she's getting her scans. So we got here on Tuesday, had a psych evaluation for Rylee, and then we had a line nurse visit where they attempted to put the IV in, and unfortunately, twice. It took about an hour, and they're wonderful. They're very good at what they do at the line nurse station. It's just,
Rylee has really small veins.
She's got my veins,
and as soon as they started poking, everything just like closed
constricted,
up.
Yeah,
and they couldn't find anything, and it was awful trying to get her to calm down, do it again. Like it actually caused like a whole series of like white coat syndrome for her this whole visit, which she normally doesn't have. So anytime someone would like come up to her with gloves or a mask on, she'd start to cry because she was just so scared.
She had a hard time. So the first day was a little disheartening because we didn't get the IV in.
They were able to draw labs
throughout the day. Yeah, they were able to draw some labs, not all the labs that they wanted, but they got enough for like what was it?
Metabolic panel.
I think that's what it was. I think that's what it was. But anyways, and so that kind of like opened the door to Rylee's being noisy right now.
She's
so
babbling.
you might hear her.
She's okay.
She is totally fine.
Babbling.
But that kind of opened the door to what turned out to be at least my, and I'm sure I know that you kind of toiled over it too, but it totally threw me completely off my game all week. I was feeling good, obviously a little stressed out about not getting the IV in, but feeling fine. And then the labs came back, and on our app on our phone, you can view them. And so I just kind of perused them, because labs are usually pretty good.
Usually pretty basic.
I wasn't
She's
really expecting
in all the
anything.
normal ranges
Yeah.
so far.
But there was there was one that was 12 times higher than the normal range, the upper of the normal range. And
she had never been that high before either.
It was called alkaline phosphate.
Phosphate. I can never say that word.
Phosphate. But anyways, we had never really paid attention to that metric before. That thing that they're testing for in the past, and it had always been in normal. Yeah, and it was 4,992, and so I was like, I need to look that up. And we were up in the family commons area where you like go and play and Rylee's playing with Legos, and I look it up, and it is associated with a couple things. But there's like a benign reason for it that is
called transient.
Fairly transient. I'm not even going to attempt to. It's transient something or another. I'd have to write it down. No, it's just transient hyper something or another.
There's
or
two words for it, but yeah.
But anyways, that is it. That transient whatever it is. That is benign and pretty, somewhat normal with toddlers. But that number, that high, it can be an indication of recurrence of cancers that have to do with being in the bones. And Rylee had, when she first got diagnosed and throughout her treatment, she had very high levels of cancer within her bone marrow. And so when I saw that and I saw like what it could mean, it totally just threw me off into like this level of...
You thought she had relapsed.
Yeah, I went from thinking there's like more of like a 95% chance that she's okay to like, I just talked myself into, like there's more like a 30% chance or something like that. So anyways, it threw me off for the rest of the week, and I'm like doing all this research and chat GPTing, and we didn't
reach out
have
to our oncologist, but they needed more information. They needed all the scans, because how are they going to know without putting all of the pieces together?
Yeah.
So
that was a roller coaster, and honestly, the whole time that I've been here, I've just been thinking about, we even had conversations about what it's going to look like moving back over to Memphis, because we just had really bad feelings about it. And I said it before we got here, our instincts are not trained for this sort of thing.
No, we usually kind of just go to worst case because we've already had that.
Sometimes, yeah.
Well,
At times, yeah.
Normally. And so, like just going there and, like, getting there in your head. But I was actually trying to compartmentalize it pretty good this time. I was like, I'm not going to really fall down that rabbit hole until, like, we actually get the news kind of thing.
Yeah, she did better than me this time around. I just didn't... I don't know. I just fell into this like, worst case scenario trap, where I thought that was actually what was happening, and almost like I was preparing myself for the news, the official news. But the good news is that even after all that stress and anxiety that I put myself through, that we put ourselves through, we walk into that room with our doctor today, and when she got in there, she's like, everything looks great. Everything's awesome. You know,
Just so you know.
all the scans look great and all that, and they weren't really worried about the whole alkaline, phosphate.
They believe that it's the benign kind that'll
Yeah.
go away in like a month or two.
Yeah.
So obviously we'll get it checked. I mean, it can last up to like 4 months or something like that.
Yeah.
And it was just kind of scary because it was like one level the first day, and then the next day we drew those same labs to double check it, and not only was it still high, but it had rose another 40
points.
40 points or so. So it's something that obviously we're going to keep a close eye on and monitor, but one of the ways that you determine that it's not the cancer, like if you had no predisposition to cancer in general, is by doing a PET scan and the MRI and the CT. All the things that she was already scheduled to have. So in doing so, we ruled out that it was any kind of sort of cancer or relapse or anything like that. So, you know, process of elimination goes to the benign kind, which we will take.
Yeah, totally. I'm, and I feel like neither of us were able to really, like, fully celebrate, you know, Rylee, this, you know, the news that her scans were clear properly, because we were just so, when we heard it, we were so convinced that something was wrong that at that point we were like, almost, at least in my case, I was almost like ashamed of myself for letting myself slide down that dark path.
I wasn't necessarily ashamed, but it's almost like you just can't believe it, you know, when you hear it, because you've already trained your mind to think that, like, okay, we're gonna have to be here again, you know, all these things that you start thinking about at night after you put Rylee down, you know. But we went to the zoo.
We are obviously extremely happy,
so grateful.
and grateful, and so grateful for, you know, our team and everybody that's helped Rylee, everybody this week. We went to the zoo, and then we played out a lot and
played.
So, that's the news. I mean, it ended up being very good, and now we're at like a year of being cancer free, and
we don't have to go back for 6 months now.
Yeah, which we were hoping we could do another 4-month stint, just because it's a little nerve-wracking waiting 6 months.
But, you know, like, we don't want to sedate her more than we have to.
Right.
All those things that the doctors were saying, so we agreed upon. 6 months will be the next return for scans. So it gives us half a year to prepare ourselves.
Yeah, I know, yeah. Well, yeah, I'm gonna do my best not to go down that rabbit hole next time. Googling.
Well, I think that we should probably just, like, I don't know, it's hard because you don't want to read the results before you have the doctor in the room, but then you do want to read the results before you have the doctor in the room. So if you have questions, you can formulate them, you know?
Yeah.
It's just so hard to find.
It's really an impossible
a good
task.
balance, you know, and then keep your head straight and level and positive. You know, you talk to other people and they're praying for you and they're trying to keep you positive and stuff. But, like, after you get an initial diagnosis, like, your whole nervous system kind of is out the window.
Yeah.
You know, we still have a lot of PTSD that we're working through just in general, you know, and these kinds of things, like the whole trip, like, we try our best to make it not traumatic, but I mean, it's never easy watching your child get poked, putting them under sedation each time, you know, watching them go through the motions, you know, just hopefully as she gets older, it'll be easier. She won't have to be sedated.
Right.
She can stay still for scans, but this is just a part of our life now. So, you know, we try to make it good. Rylee was really cute. She'd see the statue and say, St. Jude. All the time, you know. She's getting it. She's made a lot of little friends here at the Domino's house at the playground.
Yeah.
Ate a bunch of
and this place has been awesome.
Yeah.
So yeah. Mm-hmm. But anyways, guys, that's kind of the report. You know, it's not fun. I can tell you that.
Thank you for all the well wishes.
Thank you for all the well wishes and prayers and everything.
Good vibes.
Yeah.
We're still working. We're still using them up. So thank you.
Yeah, we'll take them. We'll take them for sure. But anyways, guys, thank you for everything. And thanks for watching. And if you have any questions about all this, drop a comment below. Yeah, we are all good. Scans are clear.
We're going to trust the process.
Trust the process. All right, see you guys.